All right. Happy New Year and welcome to semester two. We're going to jump right in with the Unit 6 notes. So let me get the slideshow set up and ready to go. Okay. This Unit 6, is going to be all about energy resources. So, how do we use the natural resources that we have on the planet to produce power and electricity for us? All right, so this first section is called renewable versus non-renewable energy sources. And I feel like this is probably something that you all know very well, but let's go ahead and um, jump into this. All right, so what's the difference between renewable and non-renewable energy resources? Well, renewable energy resources can be replenished naturally at or near its rate of consumption, and they can be reused. So this is like a cycle. Like we keep using a resource and then it replenishes itself, and we use it and it replenishes itself. One of the important things is that there are to realize with renewable energy resources is that there are two types of renewable energy resources. There are depletable renewable resources and there's non-depletable. So, depletable resources can actually run out if they're overused. So, I think of things like wood, so trees. If we cut down too many trees, then we're going to run out of them. And so, that is a depletable renewable resource. Charcoal is another example, and ethanol. All right, so those are all examples of depletable renewable resources. Non-depletable resources don't run out of overused. So those would be things like solar power, wind power, hydroelectric, geothermal. It's always there. I mean, as long as the sun is there, then it's always there. The wind is always going to be there because of the sun. We have the hydrologic cycle on the planet, so we're always going to have hydroelectric electricity. Or energy, and then geothermal is the heat that we get from the core of the earth. All right. So, and then we have the other type of uh, resources, which are those non-renewable resources. So these exist in fixed amounts on Earth, and what makes them different from depletable renewables is that they do not renew themselves quickly. They take millions of years to be replaced or regenerated. So that's going to be all of our fossil fuels, and it's also going to be our nuclear energy. All right. So there's a fixed amount of nuclear elements on the planet. All right. And so fossil fuels are just fossilized remains of ancient biomass, and those take, like I said, millions of years. And then nuclear energy, you learned all about nuclear energy in chemistry, but it's the energy generated, and the fuel that we use for that, or the element that we use for that nuclear energy, is uranium 235. Okay, so key information to remember with renewable energy. The first thing that you need to know is that there's a rate of consumption, and our rate of consumption, especially and this refers to renewable energy, so not non-renewables. I want to make sure that you know that. So the rate of consumption has to be, in order for us to be using it sustainably, it has to be at or below the rate of regeneration. So that's kind of what I was saying with the trees. If we use the trees too much, they will run out. So we have to use them sustainably, which is where sustainable forestry comes in and says, we can use these trees, but we can't use these trees right now. These are going to be safe for later. And forest managers are extremely savvy in making sure that is sustained, because that's their business, that's their livelihood. um, Fossil fuels will run out because they take longer to regenerate than the rate that we're using them at such a high rate that eventually they will run out because they take millions of years. There's no way for us to sustainably use a non-renewable resource like a fossil fuel. Okay, and this just shows you, and let me get rid of my camera for a second. This graph shows you that an estimated years of production that we have left. We have oil, we have natural gas, we have coal. Now, this isn't just coal. This is coal that is also very difficult to mine, and would be extremely expensive for us to mine. I think I've said before that the coal industry is almost dead in the United States because the coal that we have is either not good enough or it's too good, which means, well, we'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about what that means in a second. Okay. And so examples of non-renewable versus renewable energy, I'm not going to read through this. I think you all know this information pretty well. Maybe one thing that you don't know is that biomass fuel is considered trees, plants, and animals, or matter from those organisms, biomass from those organisms, and it also refers to ethanol. Okay, so we are done with 6.1. So explain whether or not biomass, this is your practice FRQ, explain whether or not biomass is a renewable energy source, and then justify your answer with information that we learned about in this unit, in this section. Okay, let me know if you have any questions in class, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.